Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone Talks. Has Chris Chibnall refused to do San Diego Comic-Con is a rumor that is going around right now. And I wanted to discuss this because I'm just going to be out straight here and say I do think there is something in this, because we just had RTD on the One Show talking about Jodie Whittaker's special and not really talking too much about his plans for Doctor Who. So has Chris Chibnall completely, basically, after Legend of the Sea Devils, he did those interviews, has he just washed his hands of his own creation? Imagine if BBC went to him and he actually has refused to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That is an absolute disgrace. I don't care how your era was perceived or how fans reacted. You are the showrunner right now until your era is over, and you do not even have the decency to give the fans who have supported this era a last chance and a last send-off, to say goodbye to those fans that supported this tripe for over 5 years. You are now refusing to go and give those people that send-off. Now, I mightn't be a fan of this era, but I think that's absolutely disgraceful. You know, where is the loyalty towards those fans? Where's the loyalty towards those fans? See, Jodie Whittaker fans, as I've told you all along, Chris Chibnall does not give two flying craps about you. He is our ideology, he is our beliefs, or your agenda. He's all about himself, and he pandered to you because he thought that you guys could help make this show a success. But unfortunately, what none of you figured is that there was already an established fandom there, and if you piss off that established fandom, well, you know, we get what we've gotten over the last 5 years. But I will show you this this screenshot. Now, you know me, I normally don't take any credence to online rumors, but I have to even admit, and I have admitted on this channel, that over the last couple of months, let's be honest, a lot of these rumors have turned out to be true. So I can't really dismiss this off the bat, to be quite honest. But what reinforces my belief that it's actually true is the fact that RTD did go on the One Show. Was it last night? He did go on the One Show. And what was he talking about? He wasn't talking about his own era. That's why we haven't covered it, because he didn't say anything new. He was talking about Whittaker's special. Anyway, where is this? Because it was sent to me. Well, it wasn't sent to me. It was put in our little chat that I have on Facebook. So I'll read it out to you. So here it is. It's by the Doctor Who fan page. Now, the Doctor Who fan page, I just want to point out, on Facebook, obviously scours the internet and take people's rumors and take their videos, and they post them up on their page without actually even giving any credit. Now, obviously, in the early days when I started off, I didn't know much about YouTube and didn't know you had to give credit. But now when I do stuff, as you know, if I know the source of where the photograph or the video come from, I will give credit to the person by leaving their links in the link description. But I'm not really a fan of this page. That's what I'm trying to say. I see we got a couple of members in the chat, so just let me just get into the chat for a second. And also now for everybody, especially you guys who are members, you can now gift memberships to other people in the chat if you wish to do so. But we've got member Raymond O'Reilly in the chat. It's nice to see you, pal. We have to throw the members' chats up on the screen. So we got Cinnamon Toast Crunch as well. He says hi. We've also got the likes of Queen Charlotte in the chat and TARDIS Spider and Scott McKenzie. We've got the classic 80s fanboy, and he thinks that Russell will go instead. Listen, that's what my thinking was. It's actually quite weird because we were speaking about it in a video that I did. It was either last week or the week before, and I actually did say that would Chris Chibnall go to San Diego Comic-Con or would it be RTD? I think we kind of probably know the answer to that. So look, I'll share this real quickly before we get into the rest of the members that are in the chat. And I'll just share this very quickly. So, Doctor Who fan page, new. According to a rumor, Chris Chibnall has refused to hold a Doctor Who panel at San Diego Comic-Con this year when asked by the BBC. This means no Centenary special news for a while yet. So, now, again, as I said, I'd normally dismiss stuff like this, but the fact that RTD has showed up and has been speaking about Jodie Whittaker's era and saying that he's seen a 90-minute cut of it and that it's fantastic and all this. And by the way, I just want to actually say something as well. I have seen a bit of a reaction to this, right? And people, now turning on RTD. There's a thing called professional courtesy, right? I think yous are all forgetting that Chris Chibnall, RTD, and Stephen Moffat are actually friends. Now, they mightn't like what he's done with Doctor Who, but they're still friends, right? So, yes, Chibnall probably refused to go and even do that one-show interview, and RTD stepped up to the plate and did it. And I'm being honest with you, if RTD goes to San Diego Comic-Con, I think most of the thing will be about Jodie Whittaker's era, believe it or not, because it's professional courtesy. He even said that he felt like he was overshadowing Jodie Whittaker's last episode and he felt bad. It's professional courtesy. Leave RTD alone. It's the same with all the fans jumping on the fact that he had that Shooty had a cigarette or a rollie behind his ear. Listen, if he's not filming Doctor Who, right, and whatever, and he's in his own private time, right? He can do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to have a smoke, he can have a smoke. I think people are forgetting as well. Remember, Jodie Whittaker's phone was hacked along with all those other celebrities. Yeah, there's a lot of leaked photographs. I mean, the fact that she allowed her phone to be, well, in fairness, like, the hackers are clever. But you don't put, my point that I tried to make at the time about that was, well, if you don't want your phone to be hacked, right, or you don't want to be exposed that you've been sending naked pictures to someone, well, then don't take naked pictures of yourself and leave them on your phone or put them in your cloud for them to be hacked, right? I think people are forgetting that she also had a bit of a dodgy start as well, right? At the end of the day, right, all I'm concerned about is how he acts in the role, okay? And that's it. But I see a lot of people jumping on. Now, some people have made valid points, and I will say it's not a good look for an incoming doctor to be seen with a cigarette hanging out of the back of his ear. It's not a good look. But I don't think everybody should be getting upset about it. At the end of the day, it's the acting that, we should be focused on. You know what I mean? And as he hasn't filmed that yet, and he's on the set of another movie, yes, someone in his PR team probably should have told him, listen, Shooty, you've got a rollie in the back of your ear. You can't throw that photograph up. You know what I mean? But that's what his PR team is there for. So his PR team, I failed him. We got James Dawson also in the chat, another member. And as I said, Raymond O'Reilly is there as well. Just in case I didn't throw his name up, we'll throw it up there as well. Next week, the RTD era begins on member streams. We'll also have a couple of more guests for member streams as well, and have our little intimate chats as we do. So if you've been enjoying those streams, we've got plenty coming up this month. As you know, we've already started the Peter Capaldi New Who every Tuesday night at 6:30. So join us for that. And then on Friday, myself and Real Super Doctor, as you know, we've been covering Titanic on this channel over the last about a couple of years actually now. We've done a lot of the movies, but there's one movie that we've always avoided, and it's been the James Cameron movie, because I just don't like the romance element of it, but everything else I actually do like about the movie, and I think it is a decent movie, and I can understand why they went the way they went with it. But myself and Real Super Doctor are finally going to do Titanic on Friday. So come and join us for that. Get your DVDs and your Blu-rays dusted off and come and join us for that. It'll be a bit of fun. As you know, me and Real Super Doctor are huge Titanic fans. We've even covered some documentaries as well. And we've had a lot of chats about Titanic on this channel. It's another passion of mine, along with Doctor Who and all of the other stuff that I like. And Titanic has had, seriously, Titanic for me, I've always been fascinated with this ship, and I have to be honest, it's had a huge impact on my life. I'm just absolutely fascinated, and still to this day, you know, over 100 years later, there's still mysteries, and that's what keeps us all going. That love the ship Titanic, and it's not love its story, but you know, the history of it, and we can appreciate the magnitude of the whole thing. It's just amazing. So join us for Titanic. I mean, look, we'll have fun with it, especially when we get to the iceberg part, and she'll say never let go. I'll be slagging her off there. So come and join us for that anyway, on Friday. But back to this Chibnall situation, right? I think he should be ashamed of himself. I really do. As I said, where's the loyalty to those fans that have stuck by you for the last 5 years, who have actually terrorized, abused, and harassed this fandom? Now, not all of them, have to be fair. Not all of them. But, you know, it's just, I just don't get this man's mentality, right? You know, at the end of the day, right, you've already proven that you're not going to take responsibility for your own shortcomings, because you've already kind of thrown your own people under the bus. But the fact that you've got an opportunity to go out on a bit of a high, right? Now, listen, I don't really care about the centenary, right? I don't. But as I said, for those fans that have been loyal to you for 5 years, for you to refuse, if this is the case, for you to blatantly refuse, is a slight on those fans, is disrespect towards those fans that have supported your era. Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. What is going on with that man? Seriously, this is the man that they thought was the right fit for Doctor Who. There was problems from day one. Problems from day one. And they let this continue. Well, again, I will say, BBC, you reap what you sow. You're the guys that brought this guy in, right? And now he's refusing. If that is the case. Now, I would say this, though, right? I don't know how it works, but his contract, if I'm correct in saying, someone in the chat can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but if I'm correct in saying, he's still under contract until that first episode, until that centenary drops, yeah? So if he's under contract and he's obligated to do these kind of Comic-Cons, if he's refusing, then shouldn't BBC feckin' sue his ass for a breach of contract? Let me know. I don't know if it's when or it's already termed that his work is done and we already know he's moved on. But is he still not obliged to do these things? I don't know, man. I don't know. I tell you one thing though. It is a disrespect to the fans that like this era. I mean, they've stuck by him for 5 years. As I said, they've even bleeding attacked fans that haven't liked this. You know what I mean? And all the stuff that everybody's gone through. And then this man decides, well, your loyalty is not good enough, so I'm just gonna sail into the wind. See this is the same man that did an interview about Legend of the Sea Devils and said he wanted to do a pirate story and he wanted to have the Sea Devils in sooner, so he just stuck them in this start. That's the man that they gave the show to, who's now probably, if the rumor is true, is refusing to do San Diego Comic-Con. And as I said, the reason why I believe there's something in this, RTD goes on the one show on BBC and talks nothing about what he has planned, right? Only information that we've already know that's already out there, right? But he spent most of the time talking about Whitaker's last special. And he even apologized because he felt like he was overshadowing the whole thing. I mean, imagine RTD has come in, right? The show's a shambles, right? The ratings have hit the floor, right? The showrunner that has one more special has decided to check out, and the man that's coming in that already has the hardest job in the industry, and be under no illusion, he has a hard job. Now, on top of doing all what he has to do, he's caretaking this era because the showrunner that was running it has decided to check out. Are we fucking? I mean, come on, you fans that have supported him, right? Please open your eyes. Please open your eyes. I know it's too late now. It's 5 years, but open your eyes. Go back to everything that he did. Everything that he did was cynical. He didn't give a shit about you. He never did. And this is why we complained, because we could see he didn't give a crap about you. And then we got called racist, bigots, and all of this. We were trying to feckin' defend you because we knew what this man was all about. He's a hack. He doesn't give a shit about any of you. Anyway, we've got a new member. He became a member yesterday. It's Chris Persia, our head mod. Nice to see you, mate. And he goes, no, it all depends on whether or not BBC wants Jodie's presence at San Diego Comic-Con. If they wanted to go quietly away and then promote RTD2 afterwards, the Chibnall's finale would make sense. Yeah. But I don't think, right? I'm just going to say this, right? I don't think they should let San Diego Comic-Con go by without some sort of Doctor Who presence there. And if Chibs has given up and doesn't give two craps about his era, well then, you know what? RTD should go to San Diego Comic-Con. And RTD should actually promote his specials, I should say. But the thing about it is, we don't know how much he's filmed. We've seen filming is going on, right? That would mean then whatever he has there, right? Because he wouldn't have everything complete. He'd have to get some sort of teaser together. And I don't think he'd want to do that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it would be a mistake not to have a Doctor Who presence. Because look at this show's being complete. This show, unless RTD puts out something, this show is dead. this show is dead. Nobody's talking about it until something comes out. So they need to do something. So it's either Chibs gets up off his arse, swallows his pride, and goes to San Diego Comic-Con, or RTD says, feck it, I'll go. Maybe even, just bring David and Catherine and just talk in broad terms, but without giving too much away. Just have some sort of presence there. But I just find this whole situation, it's disrespectful if it's true. I just can't get over his arrogance if it's true. I mean, it's diabolical. I look at his fans. His fans will defend him. His fans will defend him because that's what they do. But you can't defend this. I'm sorry, you cannot. You can't. You've given 5 years of your life to this man and his vision of Doctor Who, for him to turn around and say in the end, well, adios amigos. By the way, San Diego Comic-Con's coming up. I don't give two craps. She's out and getting out. And see you later. I'm off into the sunset. I did all I had to do, and I'm off. Bye. Wake up. It's too late now to wake up because he's already done the damage. It would have been nice if he's all had a copped on like we did from the very beginning. Then we would never have had the problems that we had with this era. Because if he's had to call them out straight away, criticize them straight away, we would have got somewhere. And you see, here's the thing. What you don't realise is that fan channels like myself that were calling all of this out actually did make an impact. And you probably think that's a bit of an ego trip and stuff like this, but I can prove it. Because if you look at Series 11 and the criticisms for Series 11, right? It was a train wreck. And people like myself were online, bigger channels as well, online talking about how bad it was, right? And you know how we know we had an impact? It's because for the season 12, Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill actually, because we're called Not My Doctors, even though that's not the case. But they referenced the Not My Doctors in an interview. And then Chris Chibnall in Spyfall Part 1 puts the upgraded line in because we were saying things online that he didn't like. So be under no illusion. We made an impact, but we would have had a better impact if you guys had been side by side with us and demanding that Chris Chibnall do Jodie Whittaker's Doctor justice, right? We still mightn't have liked the fact that Jodie was the Doctor, but if she had been given all the tools, then we would have seen then how good or bad she was. And we will never know how good or bad she was. I don't think she's a good actress. That's just me. But you never know with the right tools, the right direction, what she could have produced. We will never know. And for people claiming that they do know, we won't know because she wasn't given the direction. She wasn't given the advice that she should have been given. She wasn't steered in the right direction. Sorry, no, I don't agree. I'm watching fans accept Jodie, and I've turned against Chibnall more and more. Well, what I could say to that is that if that is the case, it's 5 years too late. Anyway, it's 5 years too late. We've been saying this from day one. So fair play to them. They finally copped on. Too late. Too late. Too late. And if that's what they are doing, then, as I said, good, but too late. 5 years too late, folks. Doesn't matter. Should have been on all these YouTubers' channels, right? Coming on and complaining about the show if you didn't like it deep down. But you felt like you had to defend it all the time, right? But you did the wrong thing. Right? Did the wrong thing. It's too late. It's too late. She never had a chance, you're right. And even I've come to realise that over the years, because I did blame Jodie for a lot of things, right? And I mean, she didn't help herself. She did those interviews and the way she acted in the show and the total disregard and respect for the character is what I seen from her performances. But Chibs was our boss. Chibs is the one that's supposed to guide her and give her the tools to do the best job that she can do. And he never did. He never did. And he's already thrown his writers, you know, under the bus because he's already said that, you know, while he was working on the reason why his own scripts kind of suffered was because he had to overlook everybody else's scripts. So therefore, he's thrown them under the bus. So he's not taking responsibility that his own writing is crap. It's got to do with the fact that he was looking after the team that he brought in, by the way. He decided to bring people in that didn't know anything about this show, and then he wonders why it failed. You cleared house, mate. You shouldn't have cleared house. You should have kept a lot more people than you got rid of to help you understand and guide you and tell you what you can and can't do. Because there is can and can't do with Doctor Who. But you did all the can't do with Doctor Who. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in right now. You're lucky, man, that you haven't completely destroyed this show and there's a chance for RTD to rescue this. But hang your head in shame, mate. Hang your head in shame because you've been an absolute disgrace. And if this latest rumour is true and you've refused, as I said, you are absolute disgrace. The loyalty, where is the loyalty to those fans? Well, look, you're Legend of the Travelling TARDIS. You make a good point there. You know, she does. There is a chance of her to improve our Doctor on Big Finish like Colin Baker did. So, you know, good luck to her. You know what I mean? As I said, she's gone now. You know, I've said all the things that I needed to say about her. I wish her no ill will. I congratulated her on the birth of her child. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when it comes to Doctor Who, I just don't like what she did and how she portrayed the Doctor. I just didn't like it. And I thought she was the wrong fit anyway. If you were going to go with it, see, this is what the other side forget to add when they talk about me. They say I'm sexist, right? But what I've always said is that, well, it has fluctuated, I will say, it depended on the story and the week and the mood I was in. I will admit that. But I've always said, you know, Olivia Colman was rumoured to be one of those people, and apparently she turned it down. Now, while I still do believe that the Doctor is a male role, right? And I've made no bones about that. If they had brought in Olivia Colman instead, I would have accepted it a lot more than I did with Jodie Whittaker. And the only reason why I would have is because I know that Olivia Colman can act. Right? But then I think, well, then she would have having to deal with these shit scripts. So, in a way, it was a blessing in disguise that she didn't get the role or she turned it down. Because this is what she'd have to. And I'm being honest with you, with the CV that Olivia Colman has and the high status that she has as an actress, high caliber actress. If she had took this show, I think her career would be ruined. I don't think she'd survive. I don't think she'd ever get back to the level that she was at. And it's the same with Whittaker. I don't believe that she'll ever have the success that she had before she took this role. She should have stayed way away from Doctor Who. But she saw it as an opportunity, because if you look at her early interviews, it was clear why she took the role. She never took the role because she wanted to play the Doctor. She took the role because to her, a female Doctor was more important because of the agenda that she wanted to push. And she used it. And she used it as a platform. And so did Chibnall. And that's the result that we get. So, what can I say? What can I say? I will say one thing. If Chris Chibnall didn't turn up, do you know what? If Jodie Whittaker did, I'd say kudos to her. Feck your boss. You go. You go and give those fans that have been loyal to you one last opportunity to see it at a big Comic-Con like that. And now apparently she's going to be turning up at other cons, which is great, right? But go to San Diego. Give those, because San Diego is the biggest one. You show your boss how it's done and how you respect your fans. If you do respect your fans like you say you do. You go. Exactly. Cinnamon Toast Crunch makes the point that all fans have been saying. It became more about her being a female Doctor rather than just the Doctor. Exactly. Exactly. Well, what can I say? There's no more really I can say, but if this is true, yeah, well, being honest, you kind of half expect it now with Chibbies, it's going out with a whimper, and if it wasn't for RTD, nobody would be talking about it at all. Because look at us now today, and there'll be other channels that will cover this. So RTD is a clever man because he knew we'd come on and we start talking about it. So we're even helping Chibs out here. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Give us another bleeding trailer as well, you muppet. This is what I can't understand. Yeah, look, right, you're not going to San Diego Comic Con. Fair enough. Give us a feckin' trailer. A proper, decent, feckin' full-length trailer. This special's an hour and a half. Well, give us a trailer. Give us another trailer footage that we haven't seen. But no, you won't do that because you've checked out, mate. Well, we'll see if there's a San Diego Comic-Con trailer. I doubt it very much if they're not going to have any presence. I actually have asked San Diego Comic-Con. I asked them a couple of weeks ago, actually, when they threw up their first post to indicate that some guests were coming. And I actually asked them, and I didn't get an answer off them. But I did ask them, would there be a Doctor Who presence at San Diego Comic-Con? And I got no response. So when is San Diego Comic Con? Because it must be only around the corner if people are talking about it. Because if they're going to be at a BBC, will obviously, or the BBC press office, along with San Diego Comic Con, will probably announce it at the same time if they're going to be there. Chris says, forget Doctor Who presence. I don't even see a BBC presence. Yeah, man. Well, as I said, I didn't. Don't say we didn't warn you, fans. And listen, I take no pleasure, or any other YouTuber that was right takes any pleasure in this. You should have stood with us from day one. We could have, listen, even though I didn't like Jodie Whittaker, right, I would have stood side by side with you guys and demanded that Chris Chibnall resign so we could bring someone else in that could help Jodie Whittaker. I would have, side by side with you. But you decided to fight against us and to label us, to harass, to bully. This era could have been so much different after Series 11 if you had stood, as I said, side by side with each other. This fandom needed to come together, right? But they wanted to keep us separate. Everything that Chibnall era did was designed to fracture the fandom, and that's exactly what it did. And that's what they have to do. They have to fracture a fandom first, right? So then when they get to their work then, and they do the things that they do, the fandom is so fractured that they're not going to come together. Then you have little pockets of the fandom then doing their bit. But not as a collective, because, you know, the fandom is fractured. And that's what they do. When Chibs took over, we got the little promo video. Jodie was revealed. Then we got the interviews, and then it started straight away, right? Then you had all accounts then just popping up with Doctor Who feminists and all of this behind it, and they were pushing an agenda. And that agenda was designed to fracture the fandom, because some people would be in favour of it and all of this agenda. And they knew that most of the fandom wouldn't, and they knew that there would be a clash. But that's before the show even aired, they fractured the fandom. And if we all had came together instead, after Series 11 aired and everybody was even, some of the Whittaker, especially with the end of Series 11, you know, I think a lot of fans would have, you know, came together, but the damage was already done. And this is what happened. And then, as Charlotte has brought up right there, then they followed it up with then the breaking the glass ceiling trailer. And then they knew what they were doing. Listen, be under no illusion. Chibnall, his team, and everybody behind the promotion at that time knew exactly what they were doing. Everything was designed to fracture this fandom. And it did. And it did. And this is the guy they've stuck with for 5 years and defended. And he's not even had the decency. He won't, if it's true, he doesn't even have the decency to face his one last time. Says a lot. Says a lot. But I tell you, I do honestly believe if we had came together in the early days, both sides of the fandom, right, and seen what they were trying to do, fracture us, I think we would have got Chris out. I know some people would say we should have got the both of them out, but at the end of the day, I did run a poll that got a lot of votes, and I asked, if you had a choice, if you could just sack one, who would you sack? Now, I thought everybody would go with Jodie Whittaker, but they didn't. They didn't. They went with Chris Chibnall. They went with Chris Chibnall because they seen he was the bigger issue. Should have stood side by side with us, and we should have demanded Chris Chibnall resign because he wasn't doing the show justice, right? Remember, he's a guardian of the show, right? He hands that over to the next person, and he's supposed to hand it over in great condition, right? His job is to protect the show, right? And not to do anything too radical that completely alters the show, right? Respect. And I'm sick of these people saying Doctor Who canon's all over the place. So because Doctor Who canon's all over the place, they could do whatever they want. That comes from newer fans, right? And there's a lot of them on Twitter, right? Newer fans. But us older fans, yes, we do know that in some instance canon is all over the place or it doesn't make sense. But the thing about it is, has it ever been an issue for any of us that we've wanted a showrunner to come in and completely go in and explain all of it? No. RTD didn't do it. And Stephen Moffat didn't do it. They didn't cross that line. Chibs did. Chibs did. How can I stand out? I know. Let's destroy Gallifrey. Let's say that the Doctor isn't from Gallifrey anymore, but is a timeless child. There's been multiple regenerations before William Hartnell. Listen, nobody is denying that there may have been regenerations before William Hartnell, right? But here's the thing. You haven't asked the fans whether we wanted that explored or not, right? And the simple fact of the matter is, whether you think it's arrogant or not, right? I don't give a shit. We don't want it explored, right? William Hartnell, for a lot of people, is the fourth Doctor. He was the fourth Doctor on screen. End of story. I don't give a shit if there was past regenerations. We don't care. We don't want that explained. That's like when George Lucas started explaining the fucking Vader origins, right? And now Disney Plus is adding on to it now and probably actually completely destroyed. But nobody wanted to know. Wanted it. Yeah, we knew he was Luke's father, but we didn't want to see the creation of Vader and all of that shit. And he did it. So it kind of ruins that thing. It's the same with Doctor Who, right? There's just some things you do not touch, right? And you don't touch the Doctor's origins or his fucking or try to fucking add extra Doctors because you wanna show how great and you are. Like, even though a lot of people like the War Doctor, right, and the Meta Crisis Doctor, there's still a lot of fans out there that don't like the idea of those Doctors, right? So it's not just, and I'd say the same with the Fugitive Doctor. There was no need for that Doctor. No need for the timeless child. But Chris needed to stand out and he needed to do something radical. And everything that he did was designed, as I said, to fracture this fandom. He needed the radical side to support him. So he needed, and his team needed to put out stuff that they knew that were going to upset long-term fans and fans that didn't want these things to happen. And now he's decided he mightn't go to Comic-Con. Ah, well. Nah, I know what you're saying, the classic 80s fanboy. But look, all that said that I've said in this video, right? I will say this. Does RTD have an uphill struggle? Yes. Right? But you can see the measure of the man that he's gone around flogging Jodie's last story because the person that wrote it doesn't give two shits about it. Right? Now he's being attacked for that, and I think that's wrong. It's professional courtesy, and the fact that he is doing it goes to show me how much of a chicken shit Chris Chibnall is, because he won't do interviews or anything like that. He'll do them in magazines, but he's not actually going onto the screen to explain himself, right? But RTD is doing it for him, right? So RTD should get credit because he's already dealing with his own stuff. He's got filming going on right now, right? He's had to give up his time, come in and talk about a story that he hasn't even written because the idiot that wrote it has decided that he's going to bunk off school. Right? But all that said and done, I do believe that RTD can turn this around. Whether it'll be a slow turnaround or whether it'll be lightning in a bottle again and we'll hit the ground running remains to be seen. But be under no illusion, my faith in RTD is 100%. 100%. And the reason why it is because of what he's done with the show in the past. The way he has spoken about Doctor Who while he was showrunner and after he left. I have the confidence in his ability. I think he has proven since he's left Doctor Who, his writing, his career has just gone upwards ever since then. And let's be honest, he's probably one of the best writers in Britain right now. If not, actually, I would say in the industry as a whole, and that includes America. I think he's one of the top writers out there. I think Sony seen that potential as well, and that's why they've come in with Bad Wolf. They know a good thing when they see it. So, my confidence in his ability is 100%. I have 100% total faith in him that he can turn this around. We'll just have to wait and see, though. But what I'm seeing for the specials, I'm impressed. It looks like it's off the scale. We've seen all those footage of the explosions, and they look. I have to say, back in the day, when RTD first had the show, he had a limited budget and stuff like that, and he still made things work. Looking at some of the footage that we've seen from fans that have been there, it looks like this is going to be of an epic scale. And I just can't wait. I just can't wait for the first episode to roll around Christmas 2022. And yeah, it'll be absolutely fantastic. We'll wake up Christmas Day and we'll have a Doctor Who episode to look forward to. Because I do believe it's going to happen this year because they're filming way too early. I'm sorry, but if you look at it, they are filming way too early. There's something coming this year from from RTD. And I think it will be Christmas because after the massive disappointment that will be the centenary in October, in October, Doctor Who fans will need a pickup. And in comes RTD to save the day, right? And then again, fans then are like, they'll see that and they'll see what he's done, a good thing, and they'll embrace him even more. This is clever, man. This is clever. RTD needs to use every advantage, but the fact that he's doing his friend's work for him is disgraceful. Anyway, I think I've covered it all. Anyway, there's nothing more really to say on the topic. If anything else comes out and if it is confirmed, because what will happen is obviously it's a rumor, so people will get in contact with the BBC and we'll ask them if there is a San Diego Comic-Con presence and who's going to be there. Now, what normally happens is the BBC kind of ignore them most of the time. But at some stage, as it gets closer, they will have to either say whether, because they did the last time, they will have to say whether they're going to be appearing or not. So we will get a definitive answer at some stage. That's why I asked someone when San Diego Comic-Con was kicking off. Let's see. I'll Google it there now. Hold on. San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Right. Oh, so it's right. So it's actually this month. So it's July the 21st. What date are we on now? Right. So it's the 7th. So they've got 2 weeks. It kicks off exactly in 2 weeks. So if they're not going to make an appearance in San Diego Comic-Con, some sort of announcement will be made in the next. It should be made within a week. Because they'll have to let fans know. So 2 weeks. So they've got 14 days exactly. So something will come out if they're not going to be there, because they did the last time. They said there wouldn't be a presence there. They said there'd be some sort of stall. There was something there, but it wasn't any cast or anything like that. So we'll see. Something should come out soon. People should really go onto the social medias and ask. Don't be nasty about it, but just ask if Doctor Who's going to have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, it's 2 weeks away. What's the story like? So preview night is Wednesday, the 20th. As for the 21st and the 24th, they already have a list of panels. Yeah, I know they've thrown up and they've announced, but remember, Chris, as you know yourself, they will announce panels all the way up until the last week. So that's the thing. They have announced, and I have seen, because I followed the bloody page. I'm actually following it on Twitter. I just, mate, I just wonder what the official excuse will be if they don't appear. LOL. Charlotte, I can imagine. I can imagine. They'll probably, let me see, what excuse could they actually use? The only one that I can think of off the bat is that Jodie Whittaker has recently given birth, right? And they could say that, well, Jodie is unable to attend, so therefore there won't be a San Diego Comic-Con. But that still wouldn't stop Chibs from going, though. So I don't know what excuse they could use. And if that was the excuse that they used and used Jodie Whittaker's pregnancy or the fact that she's just had a baby as the excuse, I would be disgusted by that, to be quite honest with you. Don't be, at the end of the day, if he's not going to, if he doesn't want to be there, right? If he doesn't want to be there, he doesn't want to be there. Don't make excuses up. Just say there won't be a San Diego Comic-Con panel for Doctor Who this year, and just leave it at that, right? Now, of course, people will want a reason why, but in fairness, do we really give a crap if they turn up or not? I'm just saying, I think it's disrespectful to the fans that have supported this era, that have watched this era, and they're not getting their send-off. Now, I know Jodie's going to appear in other Comic-Cons throughout the year, but that's not the point. San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest one. And it says a lot. And remember, fans, companies, we all look at this because it is the biggest Comic-Con. You know, it also shows, you know, when we kind of overlook this, but you've got to remember San Diego Comic-Cons. It also shows the popularity of what's being shown. You know what I mean? So maybe Doctor Who is just not that popular anymore, and he knows, and he just doesn't want to go and embarrass himself because he probably thinks nobody will turn up. Or they won't get the audience. But either way, it'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next coming days and week and see if there's any official announcement. But I want to thank you all for joining me. And as I said, look out for all of those streams that are happening. Come and join me. And we'll have some fun, as I said. And if any more, as I said, if any more news comes out, I'll let you know. But I do think it's a bit of a cop out by Chibs. But listen, did we expect anything different from him if this is the case? No, it's typical of him. He runs, you know. He won't take responsibility. He won't own it. So, you know, let him. If he wants to run away like a coward, let him run away like a coward. You know, he ought to be ashamed of himself anyway. But there you go. We'll leave it there. But look, thanks for joining me. As I said, if there's any more developments on this story, we will cover it. And we will talk to you tomorrow and over the weekend. So have a good one, folks. See you soon. Thanks for joining me. Remember, you can gift for all you members out there, if you want to get someone a membership, you can do that now. It became active yesterday or something, or I don't know. So I've activated it there. So if there's anybody out there as a member there and you believe that someone deserves to be a member but can't afford it, you can help them out if you like. And remember, we have the member streams. RTD starts next week. Definitely next week. We're kicking it off. And I'll also have a few more guests for intimate chats. I've already told you that Lee, problem being, will be coming on one of them. If you want to be, if you want to come on one of those member streams and have an intimate chat, basically we'll just come on and talk about stuff that you want to talk about and you're passionate about. And if you watch the last one with Jack, you will see Jack actually did most of the talking, and it was great. It was, I have to say, he had a lot to say. He gave his opinions on certain things, and it was a very interesting stream. So if you're a member and you haven't checked it out, check that one out. It was worth checking out, and all the other streams that we've done are worth checking out as well. So I'll see you later. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Stay safe, and I will see you soon. Goodbye. Bye bye.